security. These modules could help you changing your behavior towards your cyber usage. Managing data confidentially. Data confidentiality is about protecting data against unintentional, unlawful or unauthorized access, disclosure or theft. Confidentiality has to do with the privacy of information, including authorizations to view, share and use it. Information with low confidentiality concerns may be considered public or otherwise not threatening if exposed beyond its intended audience. Information with high confidentiality concerns is considered secret and must be kept confidential to prevent identified theft. Comprise of accounts and systems, legal or reputational damage and other severe consequences. Confidentiality concerns can be of social security numbers which must remain confidential to prevent identity theft. Passwords which must remain confidential to protect systems and accounts. Managing data confidentiality should follow to whom data can be disclosed, whether laws, regulations or contracts require data to remain confidential, whether data may be only used or released under certain conditions, whether data is sensitive by nature and would have a negative impact if disclosed, whether data would be valuable to those who aren't permitted to have it, example hackers. Guidelines for data confidentiality. When managing data confidentiality, follow these guidelines. Encrypt sensitive files. Encryption is a process that renders data unreadable to anyone except those who have the appropriate password or key. By encrypting sensitive files by using false passwords, for example, you can protect them from being read or used by those who are not entitled to do either. Manage data access. Controlling confidentiality is in large part about controlling who has access to data. Ensuring that access is only authorized and granted to those who have a need to know goes a long way in limiting unnecessary exposure. Users should also authenticate their access with strong passwords and where practical, two-factor authentication. Periodically review access lists and promptly revoke access when it is no longer necessary. Physically secure devices and paper documents. Controlling the access to data includes controlling access of all kinds, both digital and physical. Protect devices or paper documents from misuse or theft by storing them in locked areas. Never leave devices or sensitive documents unattended in public locations. Securely dispose of data, devices and paper records. When data is no longer necessary for university-related purposes, it must be disposed of appropriately. Sensitive data such as social security numbers must be securely erased to ensure that it cannot be recovered and misused. Devices that were used for university-related purposes or that were otherwise used to store sensitive information should be destroyed or securely erased to ensure that their previous contents cannot be recovered and misused. Paper documents containing sensitive information should be shredded rather than dumped into trash or recycling bins. Manage data acquisition. When collecting sensitive data, be conscious of how much data is actually needed and carefully consider privacy and confidentiality in the acquisition process. Avoid acquiring sensitive data unless absolutely necessary. One of the best ways to reduce confidentiality risk is to reduce the amount of the sensitive data being collected in the first place. Manage data utilization. Confidentiality risk can be further reduced by using sensitive data only as approved and as necessary. Misusing sensitive data violates the privacy and confidentiality of the data of the individuals or groups that data represents. Manage devices. Computer management is a broad topic that includes many essential security practices. By protecting devices, you can also protect the data they contain. Follow basic cybersecurity hygiene by using antivirus software. routinely patching software, whitelisting applications using device passcodes, suspending inactive sessions, enabling firewalls, and using whole disk encryption. Protecting home computer, configuring and managing your system. Keep your software programs and operating system regularly updated. Vendors provide websites where you can go and download software updates and install them. The older your software is, the more likely security vulnerabilities have been found and exploited by hackers. There are free online scanning services available for you to make use of online Secunia, and this is one of them. Install and regularly run the program to make sure all of your programs are updated. Install and run an antivirus software program. University faculty or staff and students are covered to install the site licensed antivirus software on their home machines. Configure it for regular virus updates and make sure it actively scans all incoming objects for malware. Make sure your firewall is enabled. If you need to enable file and print sharing, allow access only to the authorized users. Review these options in the network settings on your computer. If your computer is always on, disable file and print sharing and be sure that to turn off all network services programs that you do not need or intend to use. Familiarize yourself with the services you have configured on your computer. Maintain regular backups and consider employing a file encryption program if the information stored on your workstation is highly confidential. Example, tax files, brokerage or mutual fund accounts files, bank files, credit card accounts. Other options are used to keep sensitive files in a nondescript or hidden location or on a portable storage device. Example, CD, DVD or USB drive. Investigate your workstation configuring and disk drives on a regular basis to look for suspicious files, programs or drastic changes in free space on disk. Organize your files and directory structure so you can recognize changes in your files and directories. Protect against power surges with the surge protector and against power loss with the UPS, uninterruptible power supply. Secure your wireless network. Wireless networks are not as secure as the traditional wired networks, but you can minimize the risk on your wireless network by enabling encryption, changing the default password, changing the service set identifier SSID name, which is the name of your network, as well as the turning off SSID broadcasting and using the MAC filtering feature, which allows you to designate and restrict which computers can connect to you wireless networks. Dispose of information properly before discarding a computer on portable storage devices. You need to be sure that the data contained on the device has been erased or wiped. Read or writable media, including a hard drive, should be wiped using Department of Defense (DoD) compliant software. Configuring and managing your computer and online habits. Ensure that you have adequate backups of your files. Copy them to a CD or DVD or to a USB drive backup and store them in a secure location. Pay particular attention to making backups of your personal data files and custom configuration files on a regular basis. If you are working from home accessing and using personally identifiable information PII or any other sensitive data, do so via the university's virtual private network VPN service UI Anywhere installed locally on your computer to securely access UI information resources through a computer desktop at work. Never give your password, account numbers or other sensitive personal information, name, address, phone or your internet address or machine name out in an email message, news group posting or in a chat session. Your information can easily be intercepted, forwarded or redirected without your knowledge, and you really have no way of knowing who is listening in a chat room or reading news group postings. Never give away sensitive or private personal information on a web page until you trust the company hosting it. Build trust by reviewing the company's privacy and security policies on their website and by insisting on a secure connection. Look for the closed lock or a key in the lower corner of your browser window. Note what their policies are regarding reuse, sharing or selling your personal information. Never execute or click on a program, example an exe file if you do not know what is it or if you do not trust the source. This is particularly the case for file attachments that are sent you on via email or downloaded from a website that you do not trust. Consider clearing your web browser's cache storage file after visiting websites where you entered sensitive information such as credit card number or a bank or brokerage account and password, as this information is often stored in your browser too. Do you select remember this password for ease of use in your browser? If your machine is broken into, account information in your cache files could be used for fraudulent activity or identity theft. Smartphone and mobile device security. All smartphones have three basic elements of security. Your first major task as a mobile user is to become aware of these layers and enable them in your device. Device protection. Allowing remote data wiping if your device is ever lost or stolen. Data protection. Preventing corporate data from being transferred to personal apps running on the same device or personal network. App management security. Protecting your in-app information from becoming compromised. Smartphone security depends not only on the phones but also on the mobile device management (MDM). Technology installed on company servers that controls and manages device security. Both must work together to provide good security. You need to look at the whole picture. For example, BlackBerry phones are designed and built for business use. Their security is excellent. However, BlackBerry offers few popular consumer apps. You might need another type of smartphone for personal use, including shopping and banking, meaning that you need to be concerned about the phone's security as well. The more devices you use, especially if they are linked together through the cloud or otherwise, the more concerned you should be for the overall security of your mobile network. As more and more apps come onto the market, especially for the popular iOS and Android phones, their security is a growing concern no matter which mobile device you use. Mobile technology specialist Ira Grossman, quoted at CRN, says, "If you don't have a secure app, it doesn't matter how secure the operating system is." In fact, when professionals speak in terms of securing the entire stack of a device, they are referring to both the operating system and the apps it runs. Most phones have settings that allow you to verify any apps coming from unknown sources before downloading, and as a rule of thumb, you should stick to the Apple, Google Play or Microsoft stores rather than third-party app developers. However, always read the reviews even in the official stores to make sure you are not adding anything suspicious to your device. Android vs iPhone vs BlackBerry vs Windows Phone. Android security has a questionable reputation mainly because no one owns it, no one regulates what can or cannot be offered as an Android app or even what can be sold as an Android phone. But as Forbes reports, you can secure your Android phone by keeping it updated and avoiding downloading apps of unknown or doubtful origin. More recent Android devices support Google's Android for Work, which is designed to protect workplace applications and users. In addition, recent Android devices from Samsung also support Samsung's own Knox security technology. Apple's iOS mobile operating system is tightly controlled by Apple itself, which also tightly controls the apps available in the Apple App Store. This control allows Apple devices to offer good security out of the box at the price of some user restrictions. For example, iOS only allows one copy of an app on each device. So, if a user has a company provided copy of an app with security restrictions built in, the user cannot also have an unrestricted version of the same app for personal use. BlackBerry also tightly controls devices and apps. Moreover, it is built for MDM, making it easier for a company to manage and protect its device. Windows Phone has also a degree of centralized control but has a history of security weakness, though its performance is improving as more and more users are coming on board. Pros and cons. No one device or operating system is the definitive best when it comes to security. How secure your smartphone is depends upon your personal or professional needs and level of tech fluency. Here is a breakdown of the pros and cons of each type of device along with a few things to think about when you're making your decision. Android Pro. Highly configurable. You can fully control your privacy settings. Con. Lack of standardization means weak out of the box security. Tip. Best if you are comfortable with adjusting security settings and tools app iOS. Pro. Consistency and reliability. You know what you are getting. Con. Not invulnerable to malware, heavily dependent on Apple security practice. Also, while Apple products are generally priced higher than the Android, they don't guarantee 100% security and are still vulnerable to malware and hacking. Tip. Probably the simplest choice for pretty good security. BlackBerry Pro. Designed to provide industrial strength enterprise security. Con. You will probably need a separate personal device which may come with its own security issues. Tip. The best choice if you work in an industry like finance with the critical security concerns. Windows Phone Pro. Compatible with Windows, steadily improving security performance. Con. History of uncertain security performance in the past. Tip. Your best bet if Windows compatibility is a top requirement. Each smartphone option has some mobile security strengths and limitations. How you use your smartphone and how comfortable you are with adjusting its security settings will play a big part in deciding which is the best choice for you. But there is no doubt that this debate will continue as more devices comes on the market and increased security measures become more important. Did you know? Trojans are the most prominent mobile threats. They constitute over 95% of mobile malware. Over 98% of mobile banking attacks target Android devices, which also come as no surprise. Android is the most popular mobile platform in the world. Over 80% of global smartphone market, and of all popular mobile platforms, only Android allows to sideload software. Mobile security threats in 2020. There are 7 threats. Mobile device security threats are on the rise. 2014, Kaspersky detected almost 3.5 million pieces of malware on more than 1 million user devices. By 2017, Kaspersky's in-lab detection technologies processing reached 360,000 malicious files per day, and 78% of those files were malware programs, meaning that over 280,000 malware files per day were detected, many of which target mobile devices. Here's a look of the top 7 mobile device threats and what the future holds. Data leakage. Mobile apps are often the cause of unintentional data leakage. For example, riskware apps pose a real problem for mobile users who grant them broad permissions but don't always check security. These are typically free apps found in official app stores that perform as advertised but also send personal and potentially corporate data to remote server where it is mined by advertisers and sometimes by cyber criminals. Data leakage can also happen through hostile enterprise-signed mobile apps. These mobile malware programs use distribution code native to popular mobile operating systems like iOS and Android to move valuable data across corporate networks without raising red flags. To avoid these problems, only gives apps the permissions that they absolutely need in order to properly function and steer clear of any apps that ask for more than necessary. The September 2019 updates for Android and Apple iOS both added protocols to make users more aware of it and why apps collect users' location data. Unsecured Wi-Fi. No one wants to burn through their cellular data when wireless hotspots are available. But free Wi-Fi networks are usually unsecure. To be safe, use free Wi-Fi sparingly on your mobile device and never use it to access confidential or personal services like banking or credit card information. Network spoofing. Network spoofing is when the hackers set up fake access points connections that look like Wi-Fi networks but are actually traps in high traffic public locations such as coffee shops, libraries and airports. Cyber criminals give the access points common names like free airport Wi-Fi or coffee house to encourage users to connect. In some cases, attackers require users to create an account to access these free services. Network spoofing. Network spoofing is when hackers set up fake access points connections that look like Wi-Fi networks but are actually traps in high traffic public locations such as coffee shops, libraries and airports. Cyber criminals give the access point common names like free airport Wi-Fi or coffee house to encourage users to connect. In some cases, attackers require users to create an account to access these free services complete with the password. Because many users employ the same email and password combination for multiple services, hackers are then able to compromise users' email, e-commerce and other secure information. In addition to using caution, when connecting to any free Wi-Fi, never provide personal information, and whenever you are asked to create a login, whether for Wi-Fi or any application, always create a unique password. Phishing attacks. Because mobile devices are always powered on, they are not front lines of most phishing attacks. According to CSO, mobile users are more vulnerable because they are often monitor their email in real time, opening and reading emails when they are received. Mobile device users are also more susceptible because email apps display less information to accommodate the smaller screen sizes. For example, even when opened, an email may only display the sender's name unless you expand the header information bar. Never click on unfamiliar email links, and if the matter is urgent, then let the response or action teams wait until you are at your computer. Spyware. Although many mobile users worry about malware, sending data streams back to cybercriminals, there is a key threat closer to home: spyware. In many cases, it's not malware from unknown attackers that users should be worried about, but rather spyware installed by spouses, co-workers or employers to keep track of their whereabouts and activity. Also known as stalkerware, many of these apps are designed to be loaded on the target's device without their consent or knowledge. A comprehensive antivirus and malware detection suite should use specialized scanning techniques for this type of program, which requires slightly different handling than does other malware owing to how it gets onto your device and its purpose. Broken cryptography. According to InfoSec Institute training materials, broken cryptography can happen when app developers use weak encryption algorithms or fail to properly implement strong encryption. In the first case, developers may use familiar encryption algorithms despite their unknown vulnerabilities to speed up the app development process. As a result, any motivated attacker can exploit the vulnerabilities to crack passwords and gain access. In the second example, developers use highly secure algorithms but leave other backdoors open that limit their effectiveness. For example, it may not be possible for hackers to crack the passwords, but if developers leave flaws in the code that allow attackers to modify high-level app functions such as sending or receiving text messages, they may not need passwords to cause problems. Here the onus is on developers and organizations to enforce encryption standards before apps are deployed. Improper session handling. To facilitate ease of access for mobile device transactions, Many apps make use of tokens, which allows users to perform multiple actions without being forced to re-authenticate their identity. Like passwords for users, tokens are generated by apps to identify and validate devices. Secure apps generate new tokens with each access attempt or session and should remain confidential. According to the manifest, improper session handling occurs when apps unintentionally share session tokens, for example with malicious actors allowing them to impersonate legitimate users. Often this is the result of a session that remains open after the user has navigated away from the app or website. For example, if you logged into a company intranet site from your tablet and neglected to log out when you finish the task by remaining open, a cybercriminal would be free to explore the website and other connected parts of the employer's network. What's next in the mobile security threats? According to Harvard Business Review, HBR, despite becoming a preferred target for attackers, mobile security is not prioritized relative to network and computer security. Even within the mobile ecosystem, HBR reported that security spending was chronically underfunded relative to mobile app development. As the reliance on mobile devices grows, so does the value of data and thus the motivation for cybercriminals. In addition to the mobile security threats we've just discussed, be alert for new threats focused on the following three key impact areas. SMI-shing, like phishing scams, cybercriminals attempt to trick people into downloading malware, clicking on malicious link or disclosing sensitive information. A smishing attack is launched through text messages instead of an email. Beyond, as business users are granted high-level access from personal mobile devices, smartphones and tablets are effectively replacing desktops for many business tasks. However, personal mobile devices don't offer the same level of built-in security or control as the organization-owned desktop computers they are replacing. The Internet of Things. With the number of types of smart devices from RFID chips to thermostats and even kitchen appliances growing so quickly, they can't always be monitored by users or antivirus solutions. That makes IoT devices an attractive target for hackers who use them as entry points to the larger work. What can you do to safeguard against mobile security threats? Mobile device security threats are both increasing in number and evolving in scope. To protect devices and data, users must both understand common threat vectors and prepare for the next generation of malicious activity, and robust internet security solutions should provide a comprehensive coverage that extends beyond desktops and laptops to protect mobile devices, IoT devices and other internet connection points. Furthermore, your personal network and devices need to be protecting during use when you are not at home. Working remotely and securely. A recent survey showed that 51% of employed Americans have transitioned to working remotely due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The sudden transition to remote work has been left many businesses scrambling to establish policies and security protocols. Companies are moving toward long-term remote work arrangements requiring advanced safeguards against cyber attacks and data breaches. Benefits of remote working. Employees have reported surprising benefits from working remotely besides newly flexible work schedules. Several perks make the extra security precautions worthwhile. Increase employee retention and productivity, reduce interruptions by co-workers, reduce company overhead costs, increase family time due to commute elimination. Top remote security risks for business. Remote workers are typically the first to face security threats. They are often the source of network security incidents that can ripple quickly through the rest of the organization. Even if you don't have the remote employees, mobile devices like smartphones and laptops pose security risks. These are the top remote work security issues businesses should be wary of. Managing all devices and employees. Do you know what equipment is being used and by whom? Having an up-to-date inventory of devices and their uses is critical to safety monitoring. Insecure passwords. We cannot overstate the importance of setting up password restrictions. Instituting a system of regular forced password changes is a simple step that may businesses miss. Phishing emails. Criminals who specialize in phishing scams lure individuals into providing sensitive information including banking, credit card and password information. Individuals and businesses lost more than 3.5 billion in 2019 from email phishing scams. Using unsecured personal devices and networks. Everyone from freelancers or full-time employees to consultants and partners is working on a slew of unsecured devices in a mashup of operating systems and networks. As a result, they are more vulnerable and to network threats that are less common in the office. Video attacks. Popular video app Zoom has been under scrutiny for a surge in Zoom bombing, in which hackers hijack video meetings to spread malicious content. Make sure you take precautions to keep your video calls safe. Weak backup and recovery systems. A good offense is the best defense. In a worst case scenario, having a reliable backup and recovery system can save a business. Having a team of experts to take you from a break-fix mentality to a proactive maintenance schedule is worth its weight in gold. Remote security best practices for employees. A strong remote security policy is critical to daily operations and network resilience. Here are some tactics employees can take to protect their data no matter their location. Migrate your business's applications to the cloud. Cloud applications like Office 365 and QuickBooks Online offer 24/7 access. They include updated security features that are compliant with industry regulations. Install multi-factor authentication. Many businesses resist instituting multi-factor authentication because honestly it's a hassle. Waiting for an authentication code in the SIP many people would rather not take. However, this one practice is remarkably effective in preventing security breaches. Implement BYOD or MDM policies. Enforcing BYOD, bring your own device, and MDM, mobile device management policies protect users from a range of attacks. Use password managers and require employees to use encrypted password software to ensure password safety. Popular password managers include 1Password, Zoho Vault, LastPass, Blur, Sticky Password, Password Boss. Train employees on best practices. Create clear security guidelines for employees so they understand how to protect themselves and their data. Remote security best practices for employees. Users can become complacent about cybersecurity practices. They often assume your company's IT department takes responsibility for protecting them even outside of the office. Employees are your first line of defense against cybersecurity attacks. Here are a few security best practices your remote employees should follow. Run software updates regularly. Whether employees are using company equipment or their own devices, make sure they know how to run software updates. Software updates or patches can include new or enhanced features, improve software stability, add security measures, and remove outdated features. Activate automatic updates on all remote devices to deploy patches regularly. Secure video meetings. Using Zoom for your video meetings, keep the following tips in mind to secure your Zoom meetings. Consider only using paid accounts to gain access to advanced security features. Use a unique ID and password for calls. Create a waiting room to prevent people from joining calls unexpectedly. Make sure only hosts can share their screen. Lock a meeting once it begins. Watch out for email phishing. Don't open or click a suspicious email. Cybercriminals use phishing to entice users to share data and login credentials, typically through an email, instant message or text message. While IT security measures can help, phishing defense starts with employee awareness. Create strong passwords. Unique passwords are a necessary security precautions may employees fail to take seriously. Don't rely on easily hacked passwords like password 123. Never leave your bag, briefcase or laptop unattended. Leaving your laptop unattended can compromise data and cause serious security headaches. Always lock your devices when not in use. Use caution with wireless networks. Unsecured networks make it easier for cyber criminals to access emails and passwords. Don't work from a coffee shop or other public space unless absolutely necessary. Keep your work separate. 30 to 40% of employee internet activity is not work related, affecting not only productivity but inviting security threats. A company laptop is for an employee's business use only. Personal tasks should be done separately from a business laptop or other mobile devices. Reporting incidents. The Indian Computer Emergency Response Team CERT-In observed over 6.07 lakh cybersecurity incidents in the first 6 months of 2021, of which about 12,000 incidents were related to government organizations. The government informed that Lok Sabha on Wednesday. According to data from CERT-In, which is mandated to track and monitor cybersecurity incidents in the country, a total of 607,220 cybersecurity incidents were observed during 2021 up to June. This number stood at 2,08,456 in the year 2018, 3,94,499 in 2019, 11,58,208 in 2020. Privacy and password based practices. By making a few simple changes to your devices and accounts, you can maintain security against outside parties and wanted attempt to access your data, as well as protect your privacy from those you don't consent to sharing your information with. Getting started is easy. Here is a guide to the few simple changes you can make to protect yourself and your information online. Secure your accounts. Why? In the past decade, data breaches and password leaks have struck companies such as Equifax, Facebook, Home Depot, Marriott, Target, Yahoo and countless others. If you have online accounts, hackers have likely leaked data from at least one of. How? Everyone should use a password manager to generate and remember different complex passwords for every account. This is the most important thing people can do to protect their privacy and security today. Wirecutter's favorite password managers are LastPass and 1Password. Both can generate passwords, monitor accounts for security breaches, suggest changing weak passwords and sync your passwords between your computer and phone. Password managers seem intimidating to set up, but once you have installed you just need to browse the internet as usual. As you log into accounts, the password manager saves your passwords and suggests changing weak or duplicate passwords. Over the course of a couple of weeks, you end up with new passwords for most of your accounts. Take this time to also change the default passwords for any devices in your house. If your home router, smart light bulbs or security cameras are still using password or 1234 as the password, change them. Everyone should also use two-step authentication whenever possible for their online accounts. Most banks and major social networks provide this option. As the name suggests, two-step authentication requires two steps. Entering your password and entering a number only you can access. For example, step 1 is logging into the Facebook with your username and password. In step 2, Facebook sends a temporary code to you in a text message, or even better, through an app like Google Authenticator, and you can enter that code to login. Protect your web browsing. Why? Companies and websites track everything you do online. Every ad, social network button on website collects information about your location, browsing habits and more. The data collected reveals more about you than you might expect. You might think yourself clever for never tweeting your medical problems or sharing all your religious beliefs on Facebook, for instance, but chances are good that website you visit regularly provide all the data advices need to pinpoint the type of person you are. This is a part of how targeted ads remain one of the internet's most unsettling innovations. How? A browser extension like uBlock Origin blocks ads and the data they collect. The uBlock Origin extension also prevents malware from running in your browser and gives you an easy way to turn the ad blocking off where you want to support sites you know are secure. Combine uBlock with Privacy Badger, which blocks trackers and ads won't follow you around as much. To slow down tracker ads even more, disable interest-based ads from Apple, Facebook, Google and Twitter. And lot of websites offer means to OPT out of data collection, but you need to do so manually. Simple OPT out has direct links to opt-out instructions for major sites like Netflix, Reddit and more. Doing this won't eliminate the problem completely, but it will significantly cut down the amount of data collected. You should also install the HTTPS Everywhere extension. HTTPS Everywhere automatically directs you to the secure version of a site when the site supports that, making it difficult for an attacker, especially if you are on a public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop, airport or hotel, to digitally eavesdrop on what you are doing. Some people may want to use a virtual private network VPN, but it's not necessary for everyone. If you frequently connected to public Wi-Fi, or VPN is useful because it adds a layer of security to your browsing when HTTPS isn't available. It can also provide some privacy from your internet service provider and help minimize tracking based on your IP address. But all your internet activities still flows through the VPN provider's servers. So in using a VPN, you are choosing to trust that company over your ISP, not to store or sell your data. Make sure you understand the pros and cons first. But if you want a VPN, Wirecutter recommends iVPN. Use antivirus software on your computer. Why? Viruses might not seem as common as they were a decade ago, but they still exist. Malicious software on your computer can wreak all kinds of havoc, from annoying pop-ups to convert Bitcoin mining to scanning your personal information. If you are at risk for clicking perilous links, or if you share a computer with multiple people in a household, it's worthwhile to set up antivirus software, especially on Windows computers. How? If your computer runs Windows 10, you should use Microsoft's built-in software, Windows Defender. Windows Defender offers plenty of security for most people, and it's the main antivirus option that Wirecutter recommends. We reached that conclusion after speaking with several experts. If you run an older version of Windows, even though we recommended updating to Windows 10, or you use a shared computer, a second layer of protection might be necessary. For this purpose, Malwarebytes Premium is your best bet. Malwarebytes is unintrusive. It works well with Windows Defender, and it doesn't push out dozens of annoying notifications like most antivirus utilities tend to do. Mac users are typically okay with the protections including in Mac OS, especially if you download software only from the Apple's App Store and stick to well-known browser extensions. If you do want a second layer of security, Malwarebytes Premium is also available for Mac. You should avoid antivirus applications on your phone altogether and stick to downloading trusted apps from official stores. Good practices. Adopt healthy internet habits to ensure that you don't leave yourself prone. Update your software and services and devices. Why? Phone and computer operating systems, web browsers, popular apps, and even smart home devices receive frequent updates with new features and security improvements. These security updates are typically far better at thwarting hackers than antivirus software. How all three major operating systems can update automatically, but you should take a moment of double check that you have automatically updates enabled for your OS of choice. Windows, Mac OS or Chrome OS. Although it's frustrating to turn your computer on and have to wait out an update that might break the software you use, the security benefits are worth the trouble. These updates include new versions of Microsoft's Edge browser and Apple's Safari, most third-party web browsers including Google's Chrome and Mozilla Firefox. Also, update automatically. If you tend to leave your browser open all the time, remember to reboot it now and again to go those updates. Your phone also has automatic update options. On Apple's iPhone, enable automatic updates under Settings, General, Software Update. On Google's Android operating system, security updates should happen automatically, but you can double check by opening up Settings, System, Advanced System Update. For third-party software and apps, you may need to find and enable a check for updates opinion in the software settings. Smart home services devices such as cameras, thermostats and light bulbs can receive updates through the app as well as to the hardware itself. Check the settings using the device's app to make sure these updates happen automatically. If you don't find an automatic update option, you might have to manually reboot the device on a session. A monthly calendar reminder might help. Don't install sketchy software. Why? Every web app you install on your phone and every browser extension or piece of software you download from a sketchy website represents another potential privacy and security hole. Countless mobile apps track your location everywhere you go and harvest your data without asking consent, even in children's apps. How? Stop downloading garbage software and stick to downloading programs and browser extensions directly from their markers and official app stores. If you don't need half the apps on your phone, and getting rid of what you don't need can make your phone feel faster. Once you clear out the apps you don't use, audit the privacy permissions of what's left. If you have an iPhone, open Settings and tap the privacy option. On Android, head to Settings, Apps and then tap the gear icon and select App Permissions. Here you can see which apps have access to your location, contacts, microphones and other data. Disable permissions where they don't make sense. For example, Google Maps needs your location to function, but your Notes app doesn't. In the future, think about app permissions as you install new software. If an app is free, it's possibly collecting and selling your data. The same rules go for your computer. If you are not sure what you delete from your Windows computer, should I remove it can help you choose. Yes, it's more software, but you should delete it after you're done using it. Mac users don't have an equivalent, but all software resides in the applications folder. So it's easy to sift through. If you find an app you don't remember installing, search for it on Google and then drag it to the trash to delete if you do not need it. Lock down your phone in case you lose it. You need to ensure nobody can get into your phone if you lose it or someone steals it. Smartphones are encrypted by default, which is great, but you still need to take a few steps to ensure your phone is properly locked down if it disappears. How? You have two main defenses here. The first is to use a strong passcode alongside your biometric fingerprint or face login. The second is to set up your phone's remote tracking feature. If you haven't taken the first step, set up a PIN number or pattern and enable the biometric login on your phone. You can find those options on an iPhone under Settings, Face ID or Passcode, or Touch ID passcode, and on the Android phone under Settings, Security and Location. Next, set up your phone's remote tracking feature. If you lost your phone, you'll be able to see where it is, and you can remotely delete everything on the phone if you can't recover it. On an iPhone, head to settings, tap your name and then go to iCloud, find my iPhone. On an Android phone, tap settings, security and location and enable find my device. Enable encryption on your laptop. It's easier than it sounds. Why? If you lose your laptop or someone steals it, the thief gets both a sweet new piece of hardware and access to your data. Even without your password, a thief can usually steal a copy of files of the laptop if they know what they are doing. If a stranger poked around your laptop, they might get a look at to all your photos, say, or your tax returns, or maybe an unfinished bit of Game of Thrones fan fiction. When you encrypt the storage drive on the laptop, your password and the security key protect your data. Without your password or the key, the data becomes nonsense. Although encryption might sound like something from a high-tech spy movie, it's simple and free to enable with built-in software. Follow these directions on how to set up encryption on both Windows and Mac. Speaking of computer theft, if you store a lot of data on your computer, it's worth the effort to back up it up securely. For this purpose, Wirecutter likes the online backup service Backblaze, which encrypts all its data in a way that even the folks at Backblaze don't have access to it. The importance of paranoia. Ultimately, security and privacy are linked, so you need to get in the habit of protecting both. It might seem like a time-consuming, overwhelming headache, but once you follow these steps, all that's left is to cultivate your judgment and establish good online behaviors. Be suspicious of links in emails and on social media. Make your accounts private and doesn't share anything you wouldn't mind getting out anyway. Keep your main email address and phone number as relatively private. Use a burner email account you don't care about for shopping and other online activities. That way, if an account is hacked, it's not linked to an important personal account like that of your bank. Likewise, avoid using your real name and number when you have to sign up for service you don't care about. Such discount cards at the grocery store, your area code plus Jenny's number actually gets you whatever club card discount a retailer offers. Don't link together services like Facebook and Spotify or Twitter and Instagram unless you gain a useful feature from doing so. Don't buy Internet of Things devices unless you are willing to give up a little privacy for whatever convenience they provide. Once you settle into a low-key distressful paranoia about new apps and services, you are well on your way to avoiding many privacy invading practices. Protecting sensitive information. Mobile devices such as smartphones, laptops, tablets, portable hard drives and USB keys can hold huge amounts of sensitive personal information. It's important to take measures to protect the data on these devices from loss, theft and threats such as viruses and spyware. Here are some basic steps individuals can take to reduce this risk of personal information on their personal mobile devices being compromised. Protect devices from loss or theft. Avoid risk. Limit the personal information stored on devices to what is absolutely necessary. Keep hard drives and USB keys containing sensitive data locked up. Don't leave mobile devices unattended or in a vehicle. This is the easiest way for a device to be lost or stolen. Protection of things do go wrong. Software that will allow you to track a loss of a stolen phone, tablet or laptop or erase its contents remotely is something to consider. Many manufacturers offer this feature, which is also available through third-party apps. To mitigate the damages of your laptop, or tablet or smartphone goes missing, keep a copy of the make, model and serial number. This can be turned over to your service provider in the event of loss or theft in order to block this information from unauthorized use. Prevent unauthorized access to devices. Use automatic lock features and passwords. Automatic locks ensure a password swipe pattern or PIN is required to access information. Some mobile devices even have a fingerprint or facial recognition feature that you may want to use. Avoid obvious passwords such as mother's maiden name, child's name, pet's name. Wherever possible, make them 8 or more characters. Use a combination of letters, numbers and symbols. Consider fast phrases using use different passwords for different websites, accounts and devices. If you need to write your passwords down to remember them, keep them offline in a secret, secure, locked place. Change default or factory passwords, which are often widely known and easily accessed by hackers. You can usually find these features in your device settings under the heading Security. Enable encryption. An encryption involves transforming information into text that is unreadable without a key to decipher the code. It may be enabled on certain devices automatically through a passcode or another unlock feature. In other cases, you may enable encryption by going to the device settings page and looking for the security section. Consult your user manual for more information. You can also purchase encryption programs. Make sure you download security apps and programs for a trusted source. Consumer reports and product reviews can help you determine which solution is best for you. Encryption software may be updated automatically. If not, look out for the update notices that may pop up on your device or that may be posted on the manufacturer's website. Delete content from phones, hard drives, USB keys and computers before disposal or transfer. You may want to try restoring your device's software to this factory settings by erase a lot of data stored on the device. However, this won't delete all your personal information, so be sure to also erase your internal storage, which will delete all applications, music, movies and photos. Consider software and hardware products that override the content on your device, such as photos, videos or other saved files with non-sensitive data, or degaussing, which is a process in which magnetic media are exposed to strong magnetic field to make data unrecoverable. Disintegration, incineration, pulverization, shredding and melting are other surefire ways to destroy data permanently. Prevent eavesdropping. Secure your home or work Wi-Fi. Change your router's default settings. Enable your router's encryption feature. Choose a strong password and consider hiding your network ID, which will keep the name of your network from the public view. Turn off the auto connect feature on your mobile devices so they won't connect automatically to open Wi-Fi signals. You can find this on your device settings page. Avoid public hotspots for transactions that involve sensitive personal information. Public wireless networks may not be secure, which means others may be able to capture the data you are sending. Avoid using public Wi-Fi or sensitive transactions such as online banking. Use a VPN in public places. You can enable private browsing on public wireless networks by adding security features such as virtual private network (VPN). A VPN allows you to send or receive data on a public network as if you were connected to a private network, such as the one you use at your home or work. The manufacturer of your device should have a technology support service that can assist you. Protect devices from harmful programs, apps and websites. Be careful when choosing which apps and programs to install. Install security software from reliable companies and trusted websites. Look for software that includes features such as anti-spam, antivirus, anti-malware and firewall protection. Be cautious of what you download and click on, be it on web pages or via email attachments. This will help protect your device and the information on it from malicious software. Pay attention to permissions and policies. Consider privacy policies and terms of use agreements connected to mobile service devices, programs and apps to ensure you understand what personal information may be collected, how it will be used, with whom it may be shared and how it will be protected before hitting I accept. Carefully read mobile app permissions before granting access to potentially sensitive devices. Features such as location, contacts, device, ID, camera or media files. Make sure you understand why the company is seeking access to a particular feature and what it plans to do with any information it collects should it be given access. Keep your devices, software and apps up to date. Older devices may not be able to support the latest privacy and security safeguards. Be sure to take advantage of whatever capabilities are available, but also consider upgrading your device as needed if you want more protection. The same goes for software and apps. Be sure to install updates and patches regularly. Malicious software is constantly evolving. Updating software and applications as necessary is an essential step in protecting yourself. Next steps. These steps are only an introduction to protecting personal information on mobile devices. Check your user manuals or contact technical support for further information on how to enable or add privacy and security tools that are specific to your mobile devices. Security awareness. Mobile phones contain a great deal of personal information about you. May apps on your phone provide access to your bank account or other accounts that contain sensitive information. These apps may also store credit card information that can allow criminals to buy whatever they want and ship it wherever they want. What's more, your phone probably contains direct access to your email, text messages and social media accounts that can be used to steal your identity and to trick your friends into providing their sensitive information as well. Things like this can happen when an attacker physically gets a hold of your mobile device, sure. But did you know that there are a growing number of exploits that take advantage of your phone's Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and cellular connections to gain visual access to your phone? It's true. Phones can be infected with malware just like a computer can. So what should you do to make sure your mobile phone is secure? The following is a list of tips we recommended. A. Use a strong PIN or password. This is must. You should set a strong password on your phone to make it difficult for would-be attackers to gain access to the sensitive information and services on your phone if they get their hands on it. Use strong pins or passwords or patterns to unlock your device. Consider enabling fingerprints logins to your device. You add substantial security to your device by logging into your mobile device with a finger or thumbprint. Your fingerprints are far more complex than any password that you can remember and are difficult to spoof. It will also be much more convenient for you since you can log into your device with literally the touch of a button. Be aware that most devices will still require a backup password in case something happens to that scanner or your finger. The good news is that you won't have to use it often, so you can make it very long and complex and you can save it someplace safe in case you need it. Ideally, we recommend you store it in a secure password manager. You should also be aware that there are some legal differences between passwords and fingerprints should law enforcement try to force you to give them access to your phone. In short, you cannot be compelled to give up your password, but law enforcement can require your password, your fingerprints. Your fifth amendment rights protect what you know, your password, but they do not protect what you are, your fingerprint. Disable Wi-Fi or Bluetooth when you don't need them. Did you know that when you are not using your Wi-Fi connection or your Bluetooth connection, your phone is still broadcasting information and even attempting to make connections with other devices and over those interfaces? Criminals can use this information to track where you are or to gain access to your device. That's right. While you are walking around a mall, an attacker can use these connections to steal information about you, implant malware on your device, run up a bill using your services, or even let burglars know you are out of the house. Fortunately, most mobile devices make it easy to disable these wireless services and stop the unnecessary broadcasting. So when you do not need them, we recommend turning them off. The same can be true of your cellular connection. Your phone is more secure when it is in airplane mode. So if you don't need to be reachable for an stretch of time, like when you are in a movie, maybe just go all in with an airplane mode. Be careful what apps you download and what services you allow them to access. Apps are almost exclusively developed by third parties. This means that you can't necessarily trust that an app it's legitimate just because it comes from the Apple Store or Google Play Store. companies try to do as much screening as possible, but there are still apps out there that include malware. If you download the wrong app, you are essentially inviting an attacker onto your device. So do some research and make sure that the apps you download are trustworthy. We recommend that you avoid downloading apps that do not come from your device's official store unless you know what you are getting. It's also very important that you delete apps you no longer need and disable any app services that you do not need for the apps you have installed. A service is an application that provides data storage or manipulation, communication, etc. Examples include email services, Bluetooth as a communication service, file sharing services, printing, instant messaging, voice over internet protocol VoIP, Wi-Fi, location-based services, GPS, GLONASS, GLONASS, etc. Having unused services running introduces risks. A service can have unknown vulnerabilities that can exploit it to run malicious code on your device. An unused service can be collecting information from you without your knowledge or permission. Unused services can sap resources from a device. Have you ever had your device perform slower than usual? One cause of this could be from extra unused services that are using up your system's resource. One good example of an unused and unwanted service involves Windows 10. Windows 10 has a feature that collects data based on your browsing and use habits. Using these data points, Microsoft can deliver targeted advertising in hopes of leveraging this data to get you to buy something. You may not want to be tracked this way even if the information is supposedly de-identified. This particular service also used a bit of system resource such as battery, memory and processing power. That may also slow down the system. To turn off this particular service, go to settings, privacy. Be vigilant in stopping unused services from running on your device. Generally, it's a good idea to turn off your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth if you are not using them. Opening up and monitoring services on the Task Manager Windows or Activity Monitor Mac can give you an idea of the services currently running on your device. However, it is equally important to understand which services are necessary for the normal operation of the device. Therefore, if you are unsure of what services are necessary for the normal operation of the devices, please consult your local IT technician or the Buckeye Bar. Link is external. Disable location services when you don't need them. Location-based services such as GPS are present in most cell phones. Other devices such as tablets, laptops and even desktop computers may also have location-based services. They provide a way of applications to calculate where a device is. Some location services use GPS, others use different means such as Wi-Fi access point mapping. Have you ever entered into a retail store and received notifications on your phone that contain coupons or links to that current deals? Retailers constantly use location data to create targeted advertising campaigns. This may be with or without your express consent. There are few other reasons to turn off location-based services if you aren't using them. The unused service will drain the battery and may use cellular data. The unused service may introduce a security risk due to the vulnerability leading to unexpected exposure of your information. Other apps on the service may be using location-based services to spy on you. This data will be stored and used for all sorts of purposes, including targeted marketing and advertising campaigns. You have no control over who has access to this data. If retailers can get access to your data, think about who else can access it. An example of what retailers collect and what do they do with the data from the Interactive Advertising Bureau. Be careful where you plug in your phone. The plug you use to charge your mobile device could provide more than just power. It could be also used to high-speed data link, which means that anything can be transmitted over that line. This includes personal data that could be removed from your device or malware that could be installed on your device. This data can be exchanged in an instant without your knowledge or permission. Employ remote wiping software. Most mobile devices have a built-in service that you can enable that will allow you to erase all of the data on your phone from a remote location. Why would I want to do that, you ask? Well, it's a last-ditch effort to protect your personal data and accounts if you have lost your phone and think you will never get it back. When you activate a wiping service, all the data, apps, call records, texts, etc. on the phone will completely erase the second the phone connects to a cellular tower or internet connection. Ideally, this will happen before the thief who stole your phone cracks your password. This is also why you should make sure your password is a good one. Backup your phone often. This is a very important security step, especially if you may use a remote wiping service. Backups will allow you to easily recover your data if it is lost or if your mobile device is stricken with ransomware, which is all the rage in the cyber criminal world right now. Fortunately, most mobile devices will constantly back up your data to a local computer or the cloud if you enable cloud services and also pay for a sufficient amount of storage space. These are both really convenient and effective options that usually don't cost much. Check with the manufacturer to close up how to do that for each one of the devices if you are interested. Consider using Windows 10 for all creators update or later. Windows 10 has placed a strong emphasis on security improvements. Some of these features such as Windows Defender and Exploit Guard are on by default. Few of these included security features are Windows Defender, antivirus that leverages traditional signature-based AV, machine learning detection engine and cloud-based lookups to find malicious programs. Windows Defender Exploit Guard. This functions similar to a Microsoft tool called EMET that's used to protect select applications from attacks or exploits. Control folder access. This limits the ability for unknown applications to make changes to data in user folders like My Documents. This can help prevent a ransomware infection from encrypting sensitive documents or pictures. For enterprise users of Windows, additional features are also available. Windows Defender Application Control. This feature provides application whitelisting only runs pub application on an approved list. Controls such as similar to software restriction policies or app locker. Windows Defender Application Guard. This enables a new tab in the Edge browser that isolates Edge from the rest of the system, providing a safer web browsing experience. Windows Defender Credential Guard. This feature provides protections for domain credentials being pulled out of memory. BitLocker. This allows the hard drive to be encrypted so that a malicious user could not access the data on a rebooted machine. With this content, we will end this video. Thank you.